Well, alrighty then, hello there. So the version 1.2 livestream just went down, and we got a lot of stuff to cover. So before we begin, here are the 3 new codes. Of course, they can also be found in the description down below so that it's easier to copy. Make sure to claim them, since of course these are time-gated codes and they basically expire in a day, I think, or so. So yeah, just make sure to claim them because it's a lot of stellar jades. Now, of course, I will leave the link to this article down below so that you can check all the stuff out for yourself. Here's the short summary. So we got new characters. Of course, the 2 new characters are Blade and Kafka, and then the 4-star character is Luka. We got their light cones. Of course, their banners, which 4-star characters are featured alongside them. New main story chapter, new areas that are coming, new enemies, new relics, new events and other updates, and of course the codes, I already went over them. Now, since the article begins with the characters, let us begin with the characters. And now it is confirmed that Blade will be the first part, so he will release as soon as the 1.2 patch goes live. I want to pull up the stream so that, because since they also showed their animations, and at the same time I will read up what they do. Now, obviously we don't have the exact wording of their skills, so this is basically what they told us about each skill, but I think it's a pretty nice, it gives a pretty nice summary of what these characters are about. So Blade's basic attack is a single target damage, just a normal attack. His skill consumes a portion of his HP and enters him into Hellscape mode. Now this increases damage dealt for a certain amount of turns and enhances the basic attack. If he has not enough HP to use the skill, he will be brought to 1 HP. So you saw that it basically consumed his HP. Now you also saw that on each attack his HP gets consumed once his enhanced basic attack is launched. This just deals damage, as you saw, and of course to one enemy and to the enemies next to it. This attack, by the way, scales off of his max HP and attack, interestingly. Now as for his ultimate, it sets Blade's HP at 50% of his max HP and deals damage to the selected enemy and to the enemies next to it. And of course this attack scales off of his attack stat, his max HP and the total HP lost in this current battle. And his animations are quite insane, as you see. So the longer you go on, the more HP you lose, the stronger his ultimate gets, basically. So it's an interesting one. His kit is pretty interesting. Now as for his talent, when Blade consumes his HP or sustains damage, he gains 1 stack of charge. When at max stacks of charge, Blade will launch a follow-up attack, dealing damage to all enemies, and he will also heal himself. So at least he has a bit of healing built into his kit. I do like that about him, since he really needs it. He at least doesn't rely on healers all the time. But yeah, he basically only heals himself when he's on max stacks, so we gotta see how often that will happen, since he'll be losing a lot of HP. So I'm really interested in how well this character will work. Now as for his technique, it basically just consumes HP. If I go back here, it basically consumes HP and deals damage to all enemies, as you see here. So yeah, that is Blade. He's a wind element destruction character. Now, if you ask me, I don't really like his kit. I don't really think he's really my style of a character. I mean, usually in these gacha games, I really don't prefer using characters that consume their own HP. They usually just aren't that good, since you are literally sabotaging yourself for doing a bit more damage. In the end, I think thinking about defense or defensive stats is pretty important, especially in this game when you're playing Forgotten Hall, by example. You really don't want a character just deplete their own HP whenever you attack. That's just what I think. So I most probably will just skip, even though I probably could get both him and Kafka. I would rather just go for the guaranteed Kafka and skip Blade this time, and I am lacking materials to build another 2 characters, since I really want Kafka, and you will hear why after I go over her kit, since Kafka, she sounds OP. So let's go over her skills, shall we? Of course, she's a 5-star lightning element nihilitic character. Her basic skill is just like Blades, just a single target, normal attack. But as for her skill, now it deals damage to the selected enemy and the enemies next to it. If the targets are suffering from damage over time effect, so DOT, deals additional damage to them based on the DOT's value. So of course, running some DOT characters alongside her will prove to be very nice. Her ultimate skill deals damage to all enemies and inflicts shock on them, and deals additional damage to targets already shocked. So you just really want as many DOT effects on the enemies as you want to deal more and more damage. As you saw there, her talent is after an ally uses a basic attack to attack an enemy, Kafka triggers a follow-up attack against the same enemy. So this one time when, as you saw, Silverwolf launched a basic attack and Kafka of course shot the enemy as well. Now this is her ultimate animation, of course looking mighty nice. We already saw it in the beginning of the game, of course. And her technique is basically dealing damage to all the enemies next to her, so she can AoE all the enemies. So that's an interesting one, since I think she deals damage to both enemies and not just the first one that you actually attacked. So her kit sounds very nice. Of course, I myself I love running the Blessings of Elation, and of course having follow-up attacks built into her kit is a massive W. Just a massive W. Of course her Jingyuan, Silverwolf, Tingyun, I mean this team, of course Silverwolf is just there to apply the lightning weakness, and having a full lightning team, that will just go hard. It will, I can just see it in front of me. That will just go hard. Now as for Luka, of course he's gonna be the 4-star character, a physical 4-star character. His basic attack is just a single target attack, just as with Kafka and Blade. And as you can see, he also has an enhanced basic attack, which deals damage to a single enemy 4 times, and the final hit deals additional damage to enemies with bleed. His skill deals damage to a single enemy and inflicts bleed on him. So of course that is when the enhanced basic attack comes in to play. So you want to cast his skill first and then the enhanced basic attack. His ultimate basically receives stacks of fighting will and increases the damage taken of the selected enemy for a certain amount of turns, then deals damage. His talent is after Luka attacks an enemy, he gets a stack of fighting will, and when he reaches a certain number of stacks, the basic attack is enhanced. So he seems like an interesting character. He mostly just is about damage dealing. Of course, we don't know much about what his attack skill off of, how you can build these characters or anything. We basically just have the descriptions they gave during the live stream. Now as for his technique, as you saw, it just deals damage to a random enemy and receives stacks of fighting will. Now of course both Blade and Kafka are gonna receive their own light cones, which will most probably make them a lot stronger when equipped. Both of these arts look quite cool. But as for their banners, of course, these are the main things people wonder about. On Blade's banner we have some nice 4-star characters featured, of course Natasha, having some dupes of her doesn't hurt. But again, I will most probably be skipping this banner. I'm not that interested in Shushang or Arlan myself, but of course to each their own. Now as for the Kafka banner, this looks just much better already. Just looking at it is just, I mean, this is the banner to summon on. It has Serval, who is a lightning DOT character, so I think she also inflicts shock, right? So having her alongside Kafka won't hurt. That would also be a nice combo, since she will be applying the DOTs that Kafka needs to, of course, deal more damage. Of course, we have Sampo here as well, and then Luka, the new 4-star character. So Kafka's banner and kit, in my opinion, are just looking much better. So yeah, these are the banners. Now, as for the main story chapter, we had the whole trailer, which I won't go over, but it's looking really cool already from this picture, since it's been a long time. Of course, we haven't received any new story chapters since the beginning of the game, so this was very well needed. Very excited to, of course, continue the story. Now, there will also be 2 new areas, as I mentioned in the beginning. We'll have the Alchemy Commission, and this area, by the way, they do show some cutscenes during the stream, and it looks quite huge, actually. So I'm always happy about some new places to explore. And then on, we'll also receive the Skill Gorge Waterscape, which I think you'll need to go to the Alchemy Commission first, and then on you will find the path to this place. Most probably. Now, this place looks quite nice. Oh, and also, just to mention, they did show during the stream that we're gonna have new puzzles in these areas, so I'm looking forward to that. These thingies are looking like the nodes that they showed, so that is very nice. Now, as for the new enemies, we'll have some quite nice looking enemies in these areas. Of course, we already had different elements of these witches, if I should call them that. But I mean, this one looks quite new. We didn't have this one before, so this is a nice looking one. It's always nice to have some variety in terms of enemies in these games, since it does get a bit repetitive, but at least you do know which enemies to farm for the material that you need. But it's always nice having new enemies. And then of course, they also showed Evil Yanxing, but they didn't spoil us. They basically said that he's gonna be an enemy. Is he gonna be a boss? Most likely. I mean, obviously, it's Yanxing. He's one of the like 5-star characters. He has to be like a boss at least, not just a normal enemy. So that's gonna be an interesting one. Now, additional to this, we are receiving an Echo of War boss. So this is most probably the story boss that we're gonna fight. I don't know. But this boss will have 3 phases. In the first phase, it will summon lotuses that will heal her. In the second one, it will summon lotuses that will steal skill points and HP, or reduce a player's max HP. Okay. And stage 3, they didn't reveal it, but I think it's basically a combination of the two, just based off of the animations that they show during the fight. I think it's a combination or something along those lines. And of course, once you finish the new story, she will be added to the Echo of War boss list. And just to mention, we do want to farm this boss to upgrade Blade, Kafka and Luka. Then on, we're receiving 4 new sets of equipment. So basically 2 sets of relics and then 2 planetary sets, since we are getting World 7 of Simulated Universe. So more on that, I think they do mention it a bit later. So the first set increases max HP by unknown percentage, and when the wearer has their HP consumed by an ally, the crit rate increases for an unknown amount of turns. This effect is stackable. Interesting. I guess this looks like a set for Blade, most probably. I'm not sure. But I mean, of course, you do want max HP for him or attack, since those are the two stats that you'll need. Anyways, we shall see later on. And as for the second one, it will increase speed, which is oh, this one is good. Okay. When the wearer uses their ultimate on an ally, including themselves, speed for allies increases by, oh yes. This looks like a thing you set, right? Or just basically a set for any like support characters or buffers. This one is looking interesting to me. Now, as for the planetary set, the first one increases wearer's crit rate, and when the wearer's crit rate reaches, I don't know, percentage or higher, the wearer's basic attack and skill damage increase. Interesting. And then the other one is increases the wearer's effect resistance, and when the wearer's effect resistance is at on a percentage or higher, all allies crit damage increases. Oh. Okay, I mean, they sound interesting. I guess the first one I like more, since it's more offensive. But these do sound interesting. These two, in my eyes, sound interesting. Now, oh, here they mentioned that we're getting a new a domain, basically, if we are talking Genshin terms, and of course the World 7 of Simulated Universe, which I'm very excited about. And I might be wrong here, but I think that Yanxing will be the boss, right? I mean, that would be nice, fighting Yanxing in the World 7, that would be quite cool. Now, as for the new events, Tales of the Fantastic is the first one. And over here we can receive, of course, some EXP books. I'll always take those. And of course basically the regular currencies that we get. And we also have the Underground Treasure Hunt. This one I did like the gameplay. I think this one is just a nice change up. Doesn't look like a bothersome event to me at all. Then where are you, Mystery Troller? So I guess we're gonna need to search for these trollers for some nice rewards, by the way. And then on, in a previous video, I did mention that they're gonna give out a free copy of Yukong. And of course, here it is. So once you complete the first stage, I think, of the new Forgotten Hall. But of course, we shall see once the patch arrives. Then on, we're getting 10 free tickets yet again. So this is a nice login bonus. Of course, don't forget to log in. I'm not sure, I think this should arrive together with Blade. And then some other updates, chat functionality. This should already be enabled. And we'll also be getting, I think this event, yeah, this event gives some, it like basically customizes the chat. Which is just nice, you know, it's just a skin basically. And then of course 2 new companion missions, Kafka and Yukong. Of course the Kafka one, I'm quite interested about that since we don't know a lot about her. New materials will be added, which of course you will need to upgrade Kafka, Blade and Luka. And then the Simulated Universe World 7, of course. And again, all the codes. So yeah, that was basically the summary of the 1.2 livestream. Of course, I didn't go over all the cutscenes that they showed. If you want to check them out, make sure to watch the livestream for yourself. It's quite worth it. It was a fun one in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, with that said, don't forget to claim the codes. We have a hype patch coming up, and I'm quite excited. So yeah, let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.